Yeah, now we have two Austrians writing about Hitler. And in the last decades, so very recent years, we have an interesting publication of an Austrian professor, member of the Austrian Academy ÖAW, Roman Sandgruber, who is a guy from Linz, a historian. So he lives in the same area where Hitler lived. Linz was the city of Linz youth of no or Linz youth of Adolf Hitler's youth. So he knows the area, and he tried a little bit to get a connection from all the area and the history of the area with Adolf Hitler, and especially with Adolf Hitler's father, Alois Hitler. So he also stated that he wrote the first really biography of the father of Adolf Hitler. Yeah, because why he wrote this, they recently discovered in an attic in Upper Austria, so around Linz, a lot of private correspondence, letters from Hitler's father, and he said, "Now I discovered something totally new, and I publish it in form of this biography." So I read this book, and I have to say that there is not so much really new discovered material. That's point one. Second is that there are little information about Alois Hitler's father, like himself, like his psychological profile, and don't know much, because this discovered letters, they are letters when his father wrote something to an authority. There are a lot of official letters, and they don't give much insight to the family relations of him. That's the thing. So we find in his biography of the father a lot of other information like what the life of the Austrians in this time, about economy, and so on, so on. The only thing is that he stated that Hitler's father was not that monstrum. He was beaten only the child and the dog and so on. He was a more or less normal guy. That's something like his statement. And he's writing also a lot around Adolf Hitler himself. Then we have the second interesting book dealing with Adolf Hitler. It is Hitler's Vienna, the Dictator's Apprenticeship, the Lehrjahre when Hitler. That's the book about Hitler's time. Hitler's time, which he spent after leaving his mother in 97, and he spent in 6 years or almost 7 in Vienna up to the period before World War I, 1913, when he moved to Munich. The book is written by Brigitte Hamann. This book focuses on Hitler's mysterious period. So it is really a mysterious period when we know little about him. We know things like he was unemployed, he was on the streets, and he was on this. We don't know really what he was doing. We have a lot of testimonies, a lot of people who says something about, but there are. It's difficult to get a real nice picture about these Vienna years. So to get a nice picture about the attitude of Adolf Hitler, what was his believing system? Did he believed in anti-Semitism or not? Or what kind of friends he had chosen, and so on. We don't know a lot about what was going on inside him, like psychologically. Yes, that is, but the Brigitte Hamann tried to get a really nice picture and get very detailed, and he investigated at most possible these years she tried to reconstruct Hitler spent in Vienna. So that is really an interesting book. We could mention also other authors like John Toland. I think it's an interesting reading. He is also cited by many authors because also Toland, he is writing more in a style which is not very scientific, more like it's more like not like a light material. It is well written. So the Toland, he also he like Irving, he writes interesting style, but it lacks of all this scientific ballast, but like endless footnotes and so on. So it is a good choice when you want to read a little bit, interesting about Adolf Hitler, like a biography. And also he provides a lot of original materials because he interviewed a lot of person and he made also a lot of investigation of like interviewing persons in Austria. Yeah, that's all about the biographers of Adolf Hitler.